we are up to day 19 and the prompt word for day 19 is dizzy. Now, I wasn't too impressed this year that this was a repeat word, but it made me challenge myself again with the same word. So I sort of took this as a bit of a positive thing, and instead of turning it into a negative, and ran with it. And this year I did a dude, and this is Extreme Boy's friend. He's made an appearance as well, so another appearance, I should say, in another prompt. So this one doesn't have Extreme Boy in it, but this is Extreme Boy's friend, and once again he is being terrified by this, I'm going to call it the Wheel of Death, the Russian roulette Wheel of Death. So basically, it could be Extreme Boy throwing these knives at his friend. Who knows? Well, let's just use our imagination. I put in all these knives and just to portray that he's being spun, and I did these marks around the wheels to show that this thing is being spun around and around and around. And then out of all the knives that were thrown at him, the axe has made its way through his leg. Now, this poor guy is in absolute pain, and I really wanted to portray that in his eyes. Like, I gave him these really big pupils, and sort of everything on his face is sort of really sort of stretched, and it just looks like traumatic. And he looks like he is in a lot of pain, as well as freaking out about how much he's spinning around and going completely dizzy. I reckon this would be one of the worst feelings in the world, is going around upside down and around in a circle like this. It's just, ugh. And yeah, there's been some more wood grain appearances in this Inktober, which has been pretty funny because, like I said in a previous video in this Inktober, that's what the theme was last year. I did a lot of wood grain, and it's definitely making an appearance back in these drawings this year in this Inktober. So I ended up using the orange red for this one, and that was the orange red ink as the accent color, because what I did was, because that axe has gone through his leg, it has, obviously cut him, and there's blood. As he's spinning, the blood is just going around and around and around, and it's hitting him in the face, and it's going everywhere. So, yeah, this one is, this one's a little disturbing. You probably get ghost pains just looking at that axe through his leg, and the fact that he's spinning around in circles and going completely dizzy. This one makes me kind of sick. I'm actually pretty happy with this one. These 4 illustrations in this video I have been sort of quite happy with. I got over a bad patch that I went through in the last video, as you would have known. I was just, I don't know, I was not in a good headspace there, but I seem to have come out the other side, and I'm sort of enjoying my illustrations again to a certain point. Obviously, these are not perfect illustrations, but hey, they're nothing flash. When you draw every day, there's not going to be absolute perfection. You're not going to be working on things that are quite detailed. So that is my day 19 dizzy. Next up is day 20, and it's coral, and had a bit of a boo-boo with this page because when I glued these bits of paper into this book, it kind of stuck together, and as I was opening the book to do this prompt in it, it tore, and I was very, very pissed off. But That's all right. I just solved the problem by cutting that little tag off later. You'll see me just get the scissors and cut it. So this one I didn't know exactly what to do at first when I was brainstorming, but I ended up going with a skull on the bottom of the ocean, and it's been there for many, many, many years, and some coral has built itself onto the skull. And that's it. That's the story. Not a very complex story as some of them do get, but yeah, it's just obviously it is a monster of some sort that has died somehow many, many years ago, and his skull is just sitting at the bottom of the ocean with all these little corals being built around it and built on it. And yeah, and there's some bubbles coming up. I added some bubbles into this piece just to portray that it's under the water. And then I did all these little dotted lines like on the ground part, just to sort of portray sand. I wasn't sure how to really portray sand, but when I sort of thought about it, I thought, well, maybe doing these like little lines, because when you do look at sand in pictures, it kind of they look very duney, and they can sort of look like this. So I sort of went with this sort of method and hoped that it worked. But this one's a very simple piece. I ended up using 2 colors for this one. I used the pink and the blue for the coral, and I ended up mixing some of it together to sort of creating like a purple shadow in some of the coral, which I think adds a nice effect, but I didn't go overboard with it because I was a little bit worried on how it was going to look. But I probably should have continued it in the rest of it, because I actually did really like the effect that it did give, and I was sort of worried it kind of might have made it a little bit muddy, but it didn't. It was good. So yeah, this is another piece I don't mind in this video, and yeah, that is my day 20 coral. Day 21 is up next, and it's sleep, but I didn't go with anything too original here. I just went with a woman sleeping, and I know for a fact that over the years, with my tormented brain that I have often thought that there has been things watching me as I sleep. So this is what this illustration is all about, is this woman is sleeping, she's sleeping peacefully, but she is completely unaware of what demons and creatures are watching over her as she sleeps. So yeah, this one's kind of sort of very real for me, because I used to have a lot of dreams back in the day when I was younger. I'd be like half awake, half asleep, but I couldn't move. I was like paralyzed, and it'd be like someone was in the room with me, and I would be freaking out trying to wake myself up, and there'd be like a silhouette at the window just watching me, and I'm screaming in my dream and I can't do anything, and I'm trying to move my hand and wake up. So it's kind of like that paralyzing fear that kind of paralyzed sleep. I can't remember it off the top of my head. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, I have had that quite a few times where that has happened to me, and I have woken up just completely terrified. So yeah, this as I was drawing this, I was definitely flashing back to quite a few moments I've had in my life where this has happened. And yeah, it can be quite terrifying. And I've been half awake, half asleep, and I've had the sheets being ripped off my bed, and I've been searching for this thing in my room that has torn this thing off my bed, and I've just been trying to wake myself up. And then when I wake up, I realize the sheets are not off my bed. I'm still in the same position that I was, but yeah, these sort of really lucid, half awake, half asleep, sort of paralyzed dream states that you get into, I'm so happy I don't have them anymore. I really did stop having them when I got into my 30s. When I was in my 20s and when I was in my teens, I used to have quite a bit of those sort of dreams. So yeah, that's my story for that. This one's a little too real for comfort. But I ended up using the yellow ink, and I just coloured in the eyes of all the demons that are looking over her, and there's a little creepy hand sort of coming up to rip her sheet off of her. So yeah, she's probably not peacefully sleeping now. She's probably in one of those half awake, half asleep mode dreams, and yeah, this is what she's seeing, and these things are about to rip this blanket off her and this sheet off her, exactly how it happened to me all those years ago. That yeah, how I used to have these dreams. So that is my day 21 sleep. Now the last illustration in this video today is day 22. And that is Chef. Now, the first thing that pops into my head when I thought of Chef was a zombie type skeleton. Well, I ended up going with just a skeleton, and he is like cooking up some disgusting shit, and it's rank. And what he has done is he's gone out and he's found a body, whether or not he killed it himself or it was already dead and he got it from the morgue. Wow, I'm going extremely dark with this one, explaining it. But he has taken this human home, and he is cooking up something that he thinks, well, obviously he thinks is delicious. Would turn anyone else's stomach, but he thinks this is the good kush. So I have this bowl, and it's got a bone in it, and it's got an eyeball floating in it, and it's just a big bowl of blood, and there is blood everywhere. And then to his left, our right, there's a cutting board, and there's a foot on it. He's got a foot ready to go in there. He's got some other sort of blood liquid in this other jar to his right, our left, that he's mixed up, and there's some flavors in there that he's ready to tip into this bowl to add some, some really good stuff in there. And then what he's doing there now is he's sprinkling a little bit of salt, and that's what that little tiny plate is beside the bigger sort of bowly cup thing. It's a little bowl of salt. So he's seasoning it and getting it just the right amount of seasoning, so it tastes real good. So yeah, this one is it's a little bit creepy, it's a little bit gross, it's blah, blah, blah. And the wood grain makes an appearance again in this video as well. So I really enjoyed these 4 illustrations this time. I sort of came out of a bad sort of stage, and yeah, I wouldn't say it was a bad stage, it was just I went through a bit of a shit patch with drawing, and that's what just happens. You do these things, it's definitely not going to be perfect for the whole way through, because there's just too many prompts to make it perfect. So Yeah, once again, I used 2 colors in this illustration. I made his chef outfit like this monster shit green, and then I used the darker red for all the blood and all the yuckiness going everywhere. And yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one. I had a lot of fun with all of them, and yeah, I'm feeling okay. Yeah, I am sort of waiting to go through another shit patch again with these illustrations. I can just feel one brewing again. I don't know why. Like, I haven't screwed any of these prompts up to the point where I have to redo them, and I am kind of waiting for that to happen. But I think that if I do, I'm just gonna show it anyway, because like I said, nobody's perfect. Everything, like us artists, we do shit work at times, and I like to be pretty transparent and show the absolute rubbish as well, because it's not always perfect, and I'm definitely far from perfect. God damn it. I'm so far from perfect that it's insane. It's just crazy. So yeah, I've got nothing else more to say other than hopefully you enjoyed these lots of illustrations in this video, and I will see you guys in the next Inktober video. We're getting closer to the end, guys. See you in the next one. Bye.